Good morning, I am Hannah Castillo. Sexism has been a very prevalent issue in the entertainment industry for many years. It was first normalized in the 20th century in the early ages of film, but the turn from the 20th to the 21st has caused female celebrities to speak out against misogyny. If sexism wasn't as large of an issue as it is in recent years, there would have been many people working in the industry who do not deserve to be because of their actions. The question that will be answered today is shown here. How have female celebrities speaking out against sexism positively affected the entertainment industry in the United States in the 21st century? And through research, the thesis is that female celebrities speaking out against sexism has positively affected the entertainment industry in the United States by exposing hidden sexual predators, gaining more advocates for gender equality, and slowly allowing more representation of women behind the scenes. First, speaking out reveals hidden sexual predators. Actress Lupita Nyong'o describes her encounters with Harvey Weinstein in a letter in 2017. He was a famous director whose company produced movies such as Pulp Fiction, Good Will Hunting, and Shakespeare in Love. In Nyong'o's letter, she says that, quote, "He led me into his bedroom, and announced that he wanted to give me a massage. For the first time since I met him, I felt unsafe." This is just one snippet of the article, but throughout the entire letter, she explains different encounters she has had with Weinstein over many years. The last time she saw him was in 2013, when they met at a movie premiere, and after that encounter, she promised herself never to work with Weinstein again. And at the end of her letter, she uses a call to action to tell leaders to continue speaking out so that victims of harassment won't be silent like she was for many years. In a Time article by Stephanie Zacharek, she includes a quote from Weinstein saying that, "I just didn't know any better. This is just how we did things in the good old days." And unfortunately, this quote was very true, as there were many directors and actors in the entertainment industry who were sexual predators. One picture here is Bill Cosby. He was a comedian who donated to charity and starred in many movies. His accusations go back to 1965, but they weren't taken seriously until the turn of the century. One victim was Canadian basketball player Andrea Constand, who accused him in 2014. In an article by Nicole Gent, a quote from Constance lawyer says that, quote, "She considered it to be more of a grandfatherly relationship. This was a man she trusted," referring to Cosby as a grandfatherly figure. Both Weinstein and Cosby had built a sense of trust with the woman they knew, but unfortunately broke it with their inappropriate actions. And because so many women spoke out against both of them, neither of them were able to redeem their reputation once guilty. On the left here is Weinstein, who was sentenced to 23 years in prison at the one correctional facility, and Bill Cosby was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison in the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. Second, speaking out causes more advocates for gender equality. He for She is the United Nations movement to advance gender equality, and one of their ambassadors is actress Emma Watson, shown here on the right. In a speech in 2014, she says that, quote, "I want men to take up this mantle so their daughters, sisters, and mothers can be free from prejudice, but also so that their sons have permission to be vulnerable and human too." And she says this as He for She doesn't just focus on what women will gain from equality, but on what men will gain as well, as they will be able to be more emotional and have important conversations about mental health. In this speech, her call to action is for men to also stand up for gender equality, which ties into the entertainment industry, as the public's opinion is based on what celebrities say and what they see on media. And Watson explains this further in an interview with Entertainment Weekly in 2017, where she says that men tend to gravitate towards male characters. For example, male Star Wars fans will tend to relate to the male characters and not the female characters, as they feel like they can't relate to the female characters, when in reality, they can also relate, as both men and women can be emotionally vulnerable. This graph shows data from the Pew Research Center in 2019, showing what percentage of people in a country believe that gender equality is important. And in the United States, 91% of the people they surveyed said that it was very important that women have the same rights as men in their country, while 7% said it was somewhat important. And a long time ago, this percentage would have been much smaller, but with the influx of female celebrities speaking out, this percentage has grown to be much bigger. Third, there has been more representation of women behind the scenes. And this graph by McKinsey & Company shows that, as it shows a difference in promotion rates for men and women in the entertainment industry versus different industries. And here, there's a 3% chance that a man will get promoted from vice president to senior vice president, while there's an 11% chance for a woman, which is triple the times that a man will get promoted. And in other industries, men will also have a 3% chance, but women only have a 4% chance, only a 1% chance difference. And the article continues to explain that the satisfaction rates of female employees are slightly higher than men's, 77% of women versus 75% of men. And additionally, 82% of women in the research reported a desire to be promoted to the next level, as compared with 71% of women across industries. The problem is that despite this increase in female employees and job satisfaction, women are still underrepresented in media. This table here on the left shows gender representation on screen through research in 2018. The male-directed films had protagonists that were male, and the female-directed movies had protagonists that were female. 3 out of the 15 top-billed actors in the male-directed movies were female, while 10 out of the 15 of the top-billed actors in female-directed movies were female. And this right column shows whether the movie passes the Bechdel test or not. And the Bechdel test is a test that can be used on a piece of media, and the test in order to pass this test, the piece of media has to have 2 named female characters that have a conversation without mentioning a man. All of the female-directed movies pass this test, while only 3 out of the 5 male-directed movies pass. On the right is a graph from the University of Southern California showing a very minimal difference in representation for women on screen. In 2007, 29.9% of speaking characters in 1,300 films were female, while in 2019, it only raised to 34%. Now, the solution could be to stick with businesses that treat women fairly, or create your own path separate from male-dominated industries. On the left here is actress Zoe Saldana, and even though she's been in many top-grossing movies such as Star Trek, Avatar, and The Avengers, she still felt left out due to a difference in pay and being surrounded by mainly men. So she created Cinestar Pictures, and she explains in a news article that in 2060, Hispanics will be 30% of the population. We have to show the next generation that they can be the face of America as much as anyone else. In the middle is Serena Williams. She's known for tennis, but has also had her roles in movies and shows. She's had her own experiences of sexism during her sports career, including a difference in pay between her and her male counterparts. In the article, The Meaning of Serena Williams, Claudia Rankin from the New York Times Magazine explains the salary difference, saying that the London School of Marketing released its list of the most marketable sports stars, which included only 2 women in its top 20, Maria Sharapova and Serena Williams. And both Saldana and Williams are women of color affected by the wage gap in their respective industries. The difference is that Williams decided to push forward and stick with business partners that treated her fairly, while Saldana created a new path for Latinos and women. The third woman on the right is musician Taylor Swift, and in an interview with Entertainment Weekly in 2020, she explains how she's re-recording her old albums as a result of producer Scooter Braun owning them, and because he owns her music, she was not able to use her music at the American Music Awards or in her Netflix documentary. The only way she could use her own songs is if she would stop talking bad of producers such as Braun. But instead of following his orders, Swift went public with the situation and decided to re-record her old music instead. And like Zoe Saldana, Taylor Swift chose not to conform to male-dominated industries and took matters into her own hands. Once again, female celebrities speaking out against sexism can have a good impact on the entertainment industry by exposing hidden sexual predators, getting more advocates for gender equality, and creating more jobs for women behind the scenes. These are the sources used in this presentation. Thank you for listening, and I will be answering any questions you have.
Okay, I have 2 questions for you. First up, how valid and reliable were the sources that you used, and how do you know?
I know that they were valid because they were quotes from famous women themselves, and the words came from them rather than other people writing about those women. And
Right, and sorry, I'm scribbling something down. And then the second question, what advice would you have for other researchers who consider this topic?
For other researchers, I would say to include graphs that show representation of women over time, such as the one I used from the University of Southern California, as it really shows how there is a long way for women to go, even though the film industry has been an industry for many years.